Hello everyone, and welcome to the first proper devlog of the upcoming game What Comes Next that I, BurgerBrush, am making together with my team at Dandelion Developers. The last video was more of like an introduction video where I kind of introduced like what's going on, who I am, and kind of the background around the team and everything. As you guys know, we are a team of students in our second year of college, and we decided this summer that we wanted to do something a little bit more serious. So we are making this game What Comes Next about a French girl that goes on an adventure in her city, and she has a pet rat that is her best friend, and they do all kinds of fun stuff on their adventure towards exploring the world, kinda. Today I'll be going over everything that we've been working on, and our team members have been working super hard on adding a lot of new stuff. For example, the terrain is starting to shape up. We have a lot of cool level design. We got some really cool shaders with grass and fog. We also have a lot of systems that are being put in place that I can't really show off right now, but I'm thinking that like starting next week or so, we're really going to start to see a lot of gameplay in the game as well that I'm going to be able to show off. I know, for example, right now we have some form of dialogue interact system that's a little bit buggy, but we're going to show off a little bit about that as well. But yeah, let's just get right into it. So, when it comes to the first level, where our player character lives, we have been doing a lot of work on the terrain. And right now, when you look at a terrain first glance, it looks really weird because it's just like, there's nothing here really. There's no trees, there's no bushes, and it's kind of hard to like understand, like, what is this? What is this supposed to look like? But this is just like the main shape that we start out with, and then we're going to keep adding things on top of this. So the terrain is basically the ground, like the earth that you're gonna walk on if you're walking around in a forest or like these dirt roads and stuff like that. So I've been doing a lot of work on the terrain, and there still is more work to be done on the texturing. As you can see around here, the texturing of this terrain kind of looks weird. Like, why is it all gray here and like why is it so green here? These things we're going to shape up more later when we start adding foliage around the terrain, but this is kind of the shape of the terrain that I was going for. So I've been looking around a lot on like French countrysides and stuff like that, and a lot of the French countrysides are very smooth. There isn't like a lot of hillside and stuff like that, but we did want some more interesting shapes when you're leaving the orphanage, when you're going into the city. So we did decide to add a little bit more hillside so you can get some more depth when you're coming from like this side here, for example, when you're going up here, and over here there's going to be like an actual hill, and then there's going to be like a forest up here and stuff like that. So there is a lot more to come later on. But another thing that we have been doing a lot as well lately is that we've been working very hard on the level design. So right now the level design for level 1 is somewhat finished, and you can see here the basic white boxing of the level design. And white boxing is basically when you add a bunch of very simple shapes in order to understand the layout of the level, and so you can start playtesting, for example. So to give you a brief overview here, for example, you can see that there are like these bushes, let's call them, that also have like these, whoops, let me go ahead and go back to that. You have these like bushes and everything here, and you see that there's like holes in the bushes here that you're going to be able to walk into. That's because of the gameplay that we're setting up for this level. There's also a fallen statue, let's call it here, and things like that. We have some cars blocking the road over there, and then we have this more open area and a guard dog. So a lot of this is like based on the actual design of the level, how you are supposed to get through the level, how you're supposed to traverse around enemies and puzzles and all that stuff. So we've been doing quite a lot of work here. And we also even started working on the second level already, which is going to be a city level where you go into a French city, and we should be start whiteboxing that, I think, next week. Now, another thing that one of our technical artists have been doing really well this week is that our technical artist Noah has been doing a tremendous amount of work on shaders. So we've actually found a couple of different shaders, YouTube videos and stuff like that, that we'll be linking in the description, and Noah will be talking a little bit about them soon as well. But basically, we found this incredible video that teaches us how to make really cool like grass shader for our terrain that is very stylized and is very good looking. So right now here you can see how our grass is looking. This is without actual grass, this is with the grass. And if you see like this, you can see all the colors and all the shapes of the grass here. It looks really incredible. We also did some different prefabs of the grass so we can have different colors and different heights and everything. So when you're going along this dirt road, there can be a little bit more interesting colors popping up here and there. And we also have, for example, over here, if I just do this, we also have here, for example, we can also have this like wheat kind of grass. So yeah, Noah has been doing an incredible job of working with this very gorgeous looking grass that is also very good on performance, and it was actually quite easy to make, and he'll go into that a little bit later. But as you can see now here as well, we also started adding some foliage so you can get a better understanding of how the level is going to look later when we start adding flowers and stuff like that. And obviously we're going to add trees and rocks and all kinds of things will be added later on. But this is really starting to look a lot more beautiful. Another thing that Noah also has been working on is actually a fog system. So for those who don't know, we are using Unity, and Unity has like different like presettings set up, so you can use like if you want to make a gorgeous game, or do you want to make a game that can still look good but is better for performance, kinda is the easiest way for me to explain these things. And basically it's HDRP or URP, where HDRP is the one we use if you want to use like if you want to make really gorgeous high definition games that just like looks amazing. But we're using URP for this game, which still has the possibility to make really good looking games and really gorgeous scenes, which is kind of what we're doing here. But the URP system in Unity does not have a good fog system. So we had to make our own fog system. And Noah, he went straight to work. He found a video explaining how you kind of do it. Then he started tinkering himself a lot with it as well, because Noah is quite good with shaders. So he's been tinkering like crazy, and he's going to show us more later how this works as well. But as you can see here, we have this fog shader here in the shape of a sphere that we can actually put around the player or around the camera. And because of this, the performance of this fog system is really good as well, because we don't have to put a lot of fog layers or a bunch of fog all across the scene. We can have it centralized around the player or around certain areas. And this is really incredible looking based on how the normal URP fog system looks like. For example, if you see like right now, this would be like kind of dim, like late night fog or like really early morning fog. You can also change the color and the thickness of the fog and everything, but this looks kind of nice when you compare it to the fog system that URP has. This is the URP fog system that they have. If I put this to like 0.01, this is the fog system that URP has. This is awful, and it works terrible with our grass, for example. Like this just does not look good. Look at it. If you want more thickness as well, it just looks absolutely terrible. And the problem with this fog shader as well is that like everything in the distance just becomes gray. Like these trees here, everything just get grayed out and it just looks super weird in the distance. But instead, if you have our fog shader that we're going to be using, you can still kind of see the colors. You can still kind of see that this tree over here is still kind of green, and that's still kind of like a brown log, you know. So yeah, this fog system is so much better. So I'm just gonna let Noah take over and show you kind of how he's been working on these shaders.
Our grass shader is based on a video by Spider.Bob on YouTube that tries to replicate a Genshin Impact style grass. Okay, so for our grass shader, the first thing we do is we take the X and Y position and divide it by the terrain size. Then we use that as the UV for a terrain texture. It looks like this, that just encompasses the whole terrain. Then we plug that into the emission, and then we use a color node to get some color variation. We did some changes. We took the texture terrain, the sample texture of everything we used before as the base, and plugged in base color as a blend with a gradient as opacity. We plug it into the emission and remove the base color to be able to change the tips of the grass, like this. to get some more variance going. Like over here we have some yellow grass. The fog shader is based on a dynamic vertical fog shader by Dream Team Mobile on YouTube. So when it comes to our fog, we just get the object depth, the scene depth, we subtract them by each other, use fog density to multiply our output, saturated, multiply it by the alpha channel of our fog color, and we plug the fog color into base color and multiply into alpha to get this. Where if we were to pull up the density, we see that the sphere gets more dense inside of the sphere. So you can be inside to look out, or you can be outside and look into the fog. You can also put it onto a cube and get a layer of fog on top of things.
So, as I said in the beginning of the video as well, our programmers have been working really hard on laying the ground foundation for a lot of systems, interactions and scripts in our game. Now, sadly, I'm not a programmer, so I don't really know how to show off these things right now because they're not finished, they're still being polished and they're still being added to the game. And as I said, I don't know code, so I can't really show off like the scripts either and kind of talk about them. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we're going to be able to get some programmers in here for a couple of videos so they can kind of talk about what they've been doing and they can kind of talk about the code. But for now I'm just going to talk about it while on screen I'm currently showing off Dingus 3D, which is our graphical artist Vilius. He just started a YouTube channel and he's been working really hard with making stylized assets for our game, so please go subscribe to his channel. And he's going to be posting more stylized assets that he's been working on for this game in the future, and he's probably going to upload, you know, things from other different projects as well. But yeah, back to the code right now. As I said, we have a bunch of things that are being implemented into the game. Our programmers have been doing a lot of work, and even though I can't show off the work that they've been doing right now, that's because, like I said, they're laying the ground foundation to make everything work as smoothly as it can later when we really start to implement things into the game and start testing them. So for example, they've been working on puzzle systems, player interactions, enemy AI, enemy movement, stuff like that. They've been working on dialogue systems and all these things. So there are a lot of things that's coming really soon. I'm hoping that next week we're going to be able to start showing off a lot of these things as well. And if not, I'm gonna be on the programmers that they need to talk a little bit about the code that they've been doing in one of my upcoming videos as well. We actually have a really good programmer, our lead programmer Philip, that has been taking charge of just making sure that everything is as good as possible set up early on. Because in earlier projects that we've had, the problem is that like if you don't make the systems correct in the beginning, there's going to be a lot of problems further down the road, and you're probably going to have to like change a lot of things later on. So he's just been making sure that like let's do everything right from the start, so later when we start really like polishing things and start adding it into the game, there's going to be no problems. So hopefully I can get Philip in here and he can talk a little bit about everything that they've been doing, and hopefully in the next week or so I'll be able to start showing off a lot more gameplay in the game as well. And that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and please go follow us on all our social medias that you can find in the description. Also join our official public Discord where you can become a member of the community. You can kind of meet the team members, you can get to know everyone, and you can also see updates that we're posting about the game. We also have a game that we are actually releasing from Dandelion developers really soon called Haunting Memories. This is a horror game that we've been working on the side of like school for the past 6 months. It's taken quite a while to work on because we only put up around like 5 hours each into the game every week. So it's been a long journey to like learn how to make a bigger game, because that is like our first actual big project that we ever did. And it's been a big learning curve to like understand how to even release a game on Steam and setting everything up and all there is to it. So please go wishlist that game. It should be out in a couple of weeks. And that's basically it for the video. Thank you very much once again, and have a great